the frog in your throat, and I'm going to be real honest with you. The little stork and the frog and everything is a bit of a nod to Irma Bombeck. As I was growing up, Irma always had the most incredible life advice to give to people, but she did it in such a humorous and self-deprecating way. You couldn't help but embrace her and love her and go, yeah, she gets it. She's one of us. So this whole book is sort of a nod to her style, but the book is what I like to call a grown-up unfairy tale, where there are no knights in shining armor. There's no quick fix. There's nobody coming in to rescue you. You are in charge of getting over life's hurdles on your own. Here's the good news, because that sounds pretty daunting, doesn't it? The good news is a hurdle is just a couple of sticks with a board across it. It's usually just, think about your track and field days back in grade school. Track and field day, and you had to get over that hurdle. And somebody as short as I it was challenging. It's challenging in life too, but it's a stick with a board across it. You can either go over it, go under it, go around it, dig past it, walk a different path. You could be the old Kool-Aid man from the 70s and go crashing through that sucker. It's a board on two sticks. And it doesn't matter what it is in life that you're dealing with. It's that same thing. The frog in your throat for me, as we talked about at the beginning of this conversation, I've got a 22-year radio background. And when I left radio, there were a series of things that had happened over the course of my life. There has been some discrimination. There's been both within my family and professionally. There's been disabilities. There has been divorce. At one point, there was an issue with drug abuse during my early radio days that I had to overcome. And then death. I lost, in 2016 alone, I lost 20 people from the 1st of April to the end of the year. And what almost ended everything for me right before I wrote this book, about 6 years ago, was...
Everybody, welcome back to Living Next Chapter, the author podcast where we get to meet amazing people. Today is a ray of sunshine for me as a podcaster, because I get to talk to somebody who's guaranteed to show up with 74%. And that's really exciting for me, because, when you meet people that do great things, and then, they have those days where you're just not feeling it, you're not feeling up to it, but they still show up. They're my heroes. And Sheryl's here. We're going to be talking about a lot of great author stuff for you guys. As authors, you're going to be inspired. You have a new resource, a brand new friend that you're going to love, and you're going to love to connect with. Sheryl, welcome to Living Next Chapter. Glad to have you on the podcast.
Dave, thank you so much. And I promise you, you do get 74% today. I'm coming off of COVID. I've got my voice back. Believe it or not, COVID is still a thing, I guess. So, but I'm here and I'm excited to be here.
And talk about somebody who just shows up. I love it. There's energy from you. Even at 74%, we're going to get 120% from you, because I just know that's how you show up in this world. We had a great pre-chat in the past, and I walked away going, I think I just found a new friend. And that was really, really, really exciting for me. Sheryl, tell everybody, first of all, let's start with where you are in this big world of I know you go all over the place. Where are you currently right now?
Currently, I'm in my home studio in the Kansas City, Missouri area. So smack dab in the middle of the U.S. A lot of people like to call this flyover country. I just call it the hallowed land. And they can keep flying over, because I like kind of keeping it to myself. It is the biggest small town you will ever live in. It's got all of the amenities of a big city, but that wholesome Midwestern small town feel. And I really enjoy it. So this is where my husband and I transplanted 20 plus years ago to call home. He grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area. I grew up in the Minneapolis, Minnesota area, and we've been all over the globe since then. But this is where we choose to call home now.
Excellent. And as you're listening, as you hear Sheral talk, you're like, my gosh, that sounds like a radio voice. Like when I'm hearing, I shut my eyes and I'm feeling like, wow, I'm in the presence of somebody who's done this before. Can you share a little bit of your background? Because you just have this little thing. There's something about you and your voice.
Maybe just a little bit of radio background. And I apologize. It still sounds a little bit stuffy, thanks to the good old Rona. But I am a 22-year radio veteran of commercial radio. I have had 3 number 1 morning shows in my career. The last one beating people like Steve Harvey and Tom Joyner. I'm dating myself a little bit, by double digits in an urban market with a little country show that was ranked 9th in the market in a 4-state area. I think I spoke to what was it? It was about 1.5 million people every single day. And it was fun. It just was a really good time until it wasn't. And then I got out of that and decided to take my talents and put them into a business. So now I own Speaking with Sher, which is a brand voice, brand messaging, communication strategy company. We create custom strategies to take the voices and the messages of small business owners, entrepreneurs, and sales professionals. We take those voices from what feels like invisible and turn them into something invincible without changing who you are.
So when people come to you, have people found their voice before they come to you, or is that something you help people to help them find their voice?
I help them find it in a lot of cases. It's funny. You have to have seen the big Alex Hermosi thing that's gone on recently. You know, Alex is the king of marketing. And what makes he and his wife Layla so incredible with their marketing is they haven't come up with a new concept. It literally is all the basic 101 marketing stuff. They just do it persistently, consistently, and have done it for so long that they're the best at it. So what makes them stand out from everyone else? I mean, they didn't have a $40 book. They didn't have a $5,000 package they were doing. They were selling a cheap book and giving everything else away for free. What makes them so sought after and why they were capable of, selling over 1 million books in an hour, is the brand. They understand their brand. They know what their voice is, and they know how to message that correctly. And that's something that I do for my clients, whether it's as an author, like we're discussing here, whether it's media training for podcasts, for radio, for television, whether it's their website or their email marketing, their social media. We take a look at all the different things, but we come up with what their brand voice is. I think a lot of people, even with writing a book, tend to think they have to change themselves and cater to a certain imaginary person or group of people. Most often is how they approach it. People know when you're being fake. I mean, you and I know we've had when we had a conversation with one another. I think the reason that we clicked so quickly is there were no false pretenses. This is exactly what you see. And it's the same way with your brand. When you're trying to cater to too many other people and you're not being true to who you are, and that brand voice, it doesn't hit. People, they can smell that a mile away and they're like, something's not right there. And they move away from it, whether it's buying a product or, picking up your book. They can tell when it doesn't feel right. And so one of the things that I do is we come up with those custom strategies. It's not a cookie cutter, one size fits all approach, but we take a look at who you really are, what's going to be most important to you. And to some extent, like with a company or a corporation, you can take a look at that corporation as an entity itself, as a living, breathing thing, and you can determine what the characteristics of that company are and what they're like, whether they're, a little sarcastic, whether they're very down to earth. You can feel the personality there, and that's what we come up with, and then come up with the various spokes. It's something that I call a custom messaging wheel, where we create the messaging spokes off of your brand personality and your brand voice to keep that wheel turning for impact and success. And I do it with authors with their books as well.
I think that's the one common thing I hear from authors is they get great support through the editing process, the writing process, the reviews, all that stuff, all the way to release date. And then it's kind of like, here's a box of books. Congratulations, you're an author. No, go promote it. And you're on your own. And this is like the first time I've had so many people on this show, first time ever being on a podcast, getting out and talking about their book. They're very content writing and building and creating this thing. But the moment you have to talk about it, that's like a totally different muscle they've never used before. And they're really overwhelmed because I'm not comfortable talking about myself, or I don't know how to promote this. I have no idea what I'm doing. Podcasting is a great first step, I think, for a lot of authors, because we get to hear you and the story behind what you've done. One thing that they seem to struggle with the most is when we get to the end of the interview. And it's like, hey, this was really great to have you here on Sher on the podcast. And where do we go? How do we connect with you? Oh, go to my website, blah, blah, blah.com. And then it's like, why? Okay, first, why would I go to your website as a reader? Like, what brings me to you? And I actually modeled something from you without even giving you credit yet until now. You have like a place, an address to send people to you when you're a guest. Very simple to remember. And I stole your idea and got my own just because of you. So just so you know, but do this for me just to share. We're just at the beginning of the conversation, but do this for me. What is your go-to address to send people when they want to connect with you? Because I really love what you've done.
Yeah. My email address to start is Sher, my name, SHER, because I don't sing as well as Sher. So I couldn't keep the C. It's the S. Sher at speakingwithsher.com. It's my name and my company. And that's one of the big things that I do my best, not only for authors, clients, but for all of my clients, is get away from some weird Gmail email address. And I'll explain why. Gmail is great. You can get big files. You can do all of that, but they're still promoting Gmail. That's not promoting your company. You want everything to be on brand. When people see Gmail, what is it? Crazy frog pony at gmail.com. That seems like it's a scam. I don't take that quite as seriously. If I'm looking to do business with someone, whether it's buying a product, looking at a service, collaborating on a project, if I see funky monkey 123 at gmail or yahoo.com, I'm like, do I really want to put my name behind that? No, this is part of your brand. And I mean, it's most of the email places you can get that specialized name, that customized name. It doesn't cost you anything really. But get your name, get that simple. It's easy to remember, and it keeps you on brand.
There's a free thing that you offer as well, and you have a website domain for that, which I thought was quite unique.
Yep, same.
Right? You have like a free gift, right? What is that? What is that website?
Free gift from Sher. It's an invitation. Yeah, an invitation to join my my group mastery Q&A that I do twice a month, where we learn to engage your voice, and it's sort of a hybrid of a Q&A session and a mastermind session with business people around the globe that have the same problems, you and I face. And then we come up with the different strategies on how to do a fix in real time, something you can take with you immediately and start to implement. But it's a free gift. It's 30 days to kick the tires, see how you feel, no obligation to stay, and get some valuable resources. But yeah, free gift from Sher.com. Keep keeping it on brand. Yeah.
I got giftfromdave.com.
Perfect.
How's that? Yay!
Perfect.
Because of you. I went and looked. I'm like, it's available. I'm like, giftfromdave.com. So now when I go onto a show and we get to that part where like, well, Dave, where do we find you? Blah, blah, blah. Well, you can go to this blah, 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 really long address or giftfromdave.com. And that is completely because of you, Sher. As soon as we got off, I went and bought that domain right away because you're a great example to me about, I never thought of that before. And I think as authors, when you go on shows or anybody promoting anything, make it super easy. And there should be a value added for the person to go to that site, not just simply to follow me on Instagram.
I'm glad you said that. I am so glad you said that, because not only do I have the free gift from Sher and Sher at speakingwithsher.com. In fact, the website, speakingwithsher.com, the name of my company, Speaking with Sher, it's all that really easy, brand specific thing. But even with my book, I made certain that I got the domain. That's the title of my book. It's, thefroginyourthroat.com. But what you said is so spot on about what's the reason for going to that website. So I have thefroginyourthroat.com to go to for my book. But if you go to that particular website rather than Amazon or where else, you'll get a personally autographed version of the book. I will pick it up in my hand. I will write you your message, and I will personally put it in the mail and send it to you. So it's just something a little bit, a little extra, a little different than what you'd get from the whole, Amazon experience.
Yeah. And if you're a guest on podcast, speaking to the authors listening, and you have a unique place to send people, that's a way to measure how the podcast episode's doing, possibly. If you use that only on podcasts, for example, you don't use it when you speak from stage, you only use it for podcasts, then when you see people responding, somehow through a podcast appearance, people are connecting with you and responding to that website address. So that podcast is working for you as a guest. It's a good way to kind of go, hey, I've been doing like 20 episodes, 20 different shows. Is it working? I don't know. But if I know I got 20 people responding, for example, then I know podcasting might be working for me as a guest. So it's another kind of way to kind of check that.
I think the better way to handle that, because we don't want to have a bazillion different domain names to remember. I keep thefroginyourthroat.com or free gift from Sher. And when I'm on stage or doing a podcast like this, what I have, because you have to set it up so that they can put their info in if they want to, get the book or what have you. But I always have a little space in it where how did you hear about us? And that way they can put in the name of the podcast or the event you've been on. Or sometimes I'll do a promo code. Now, I can't do it with the free gift because obviously the promo it's free, but there is a space where, how did you hear about us? And they'll put in, the name of your podcast, the 500,000 people that are going to show up now because they listen to your podcast.
Of course.
So yeah. But that's a good way to measure your performance metrics there too. You don't have to get a bazillion different domain emails. You just have that one little spot. How did you hear about us? Be direct. That's the biggest secret that I think I would share with authors who are worried. How do I market this? You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just do the easy, basic things. The old adage, the KISS adage, keep it simple, stupid. I live by that. If left to my own devices, I will overcomplicate everything. But where I thrive and have success is in the most basic and simple things. And we go back to Alex and Layla Hermosi. The most basic and simple things, but they stick with it. It's consistent and persistent. And that's really all that it takes to gain traction. Now, you may not have it overnight, but you didn't get here overnight either. You didn't write the book overnight unless you let AI do it. And I don't recommend that. I got some stories for that. But it's going to take hold as long as you know who you are with regards to your brand personality, your voice, and then keep the message on point. Don't deviate from that. Just keep it simple, and it will take hold and gain traction all the way around. The simple thing.
And as a podcast guest, remember, not everyone's heard your last interview on that other show. So people might be hearing from you for the first time. You don't have to be creating brand new talking points every time you show up. Sometimes you need, there's songs I love to hear more than once. I love to hear them over and over again. They're my favorite songs. So, and I can anticipate it. I know the lyrics. I know that where the song is going, and they never disappoint because they're one of my favorite songs. So that story you tell from stage on podcasts, just because you shared it once doesn't mean you can't share it again.
Just remember that Journey released Don't Stop Believin' in 1981, and it's still a crowd favorite everywhere you go. 1981.
Right.
I think it was the Escape album. Now
very well done.
Yeah, now I'm just doing my crazy,
now you're showing off. You're showing off now, Sher. I like that. I like it. Drinks in the air as soon as that comes on, right?
Yeah.
That's it. But don't be afraid to share the story. You've shared it once, keep sharing it, becomes part of your brand as well. People then anticipate, oh, Sher's going to do the story now. Everyone sit up. This is a good story, right? People will start talking about that. And it's all these things kind of work together for you as an author, as a speaker, whatever you're promoting. You're consistent in your messaging and how you show up. People then invite you in. It's like that friend that it's that cheers moment where everybody's like, Norm, right? Because everybody knows Norm, right? Norm wasn't doing something new every time he came into the bar. He's Norm. That's consistently who he was, right? Sat in the same spot, drank the same drink. That's who he was. So I think brand. As his brand. That was his brand. Exactly.
That's exactly what it is. It's his brand. And Cliffy's brand was, the useless trivia. So I'm married to Cliffy, but it's that simple. I always caution my author clients when we're doing media training, getting them prepped for podcast interviews or the stage or what have you, that you don't need to memorize what you're going to say, because that's a surefire way to have kind of a messy interview, especially when you get asked a question that's sort of a curveball that you weren't expecting. You don't need to memorize this stuff because you already know it. Heck, you wrote it. So the best way to have that conversation to really showcase your brand, is just have that conversation. You already know the stuff that's in your book. You know it. You don't have to have this predetermined, I have to say it this way. No, you need to be yourself to connect with the reader. The reason that a reader picks up a book, they want to learn something, but they want to connect. They want to immerse themselves in it and be a part of the world, whether it's fiction or nonfiction that you presented. They can't connect if there's nothing to connect to. They need to feel that they're bringing home a piece of you, I guess is the best way to put it. So give them a piece in your interviews, in your social media. Don't be afraid to put your face out there. I mean, I'm out here with COVID and I'm not afraid to get out and talk with a voice that's a little off or to look a little disheveled. Be you. Be genuinely you. You don't have to be perfect. Nobody wants perfect. Think about the last time you saw somebody that you thought had it all together, was the perfect person. What was your, Dave, I'm gonna put you on the spot. What was your first reaction when you see somebody that seems absolutely perfect?
They didn't seem real. Like to me, I'm like, there was no connection point. There wasn't anything that drew me to them. At some point, I kind of felt a little bit like I'm in the wrong spot. Like I'm not perfect. I know I'm not perfect. So if they're perfect and I'm not, then out of the two of us, I don't feel like I belong here.
I'm so sorry about that. My first gut reaction when I see somebody that seems to be perfect is ew. Literally, ew. Nobody relates to that. Nobody likes that. Nobody wants to be with the person that's perfect. What makes people fun and unique and approachable and desirable are the flaws. People want to connect to those people that they feel understand them and they can relate to. We don't relate to perfection. We relate to the flaws. Just put yourself out there. It's okay. You put yourself out there with a book. Put yourself out there. Put yourself out there.
Here's a segue for you.
Yeah.
With you not feeling like, 74% right now.
I'm at 74%.
There's like something in your throat while you're talking. Your voice isn't exactly the way you would normally have it. And the title of your book kind of goes along with that, which is quite interesting because you're living like the frog in your throat. How's that? That's a good transition point. Let's talk about the book and kind of what's the purpose of this book, a little history behind it as well. I love the idea, the concept, and the book is right there, everyone, of course.
The frog in your throat. And I'm going to be real honest with you. The little stork and the frog and everything is a bit of a nod to Irma Bombeck. As I was growing up, Irma always had the most incredible life advice to give to people, but she did it in such a humorous and self-deprecating way. You couldn't help but embrace her and love her and go, yeah, she gets it. She's one of us. So this whole book is sort of a nod to her style, but the book is what I like to call a grown-up unfairy tale, where there are no knights in shining armor. There's no quick fix. There's nobody coming in to rescue you. You are in charge of getting over life's hurdles on your own. Here's the good news, because that sounds pretty daunting, doesn't it? The good news is a hurdle is just a couple of sticks with a board across it. It's usually just, think about your track and field days back in grade school, track and field day, and you had to get over that hurdle. And somebody as short as I, it was challenging. It's challenging in life too, but it's a stick with a board across it. You can either go over it, go under it, go around it, dig past it, walk a different path. You could be the old Kool-Aid man from the 70s and go crashing through that sucker. It's a board on two sticks. And it doesn't matter what it is in life that you're dealing with. It's that same thing. The frog in your throat for me, as we talked about at the beginning of this conversation, I've got a 22-year radio background. And when I left radio, there were a series of things that had happened over the course of my life. There has been some discrimination. There's been both within my family and professionally. There's been disabilities. There has been divorce. At one point, there was an issue with drug abuse during my early radio days that I had to overcome. And then death. I lost, in 2016 alone, I lost 20 people from the 1st of April to the end of the year. And what almost ended everything for me right before I wrote this book, about 6 years ago, was an attempted suicide by my youngest daughter, who felt like she didn't have a voice. She is on the autism spectrum, and she's great now, no issues. And my mother passed away unexpectedly. Over the course of several years, with all of those things, I didn't know who I was anymore. Here I had been, this top rated radio star, for lack of a better phrase, my face up on billboards, known in a multi state area. I was flying out to Los Angeles to sit on expert panels to teach others how to do morning show radio and how to create a brand when you have very little budget. And suddenly I didn't know who I was anymore. I wasn't doing radio. I didn't know who I was. And I felt like I didn't have a voice of my own anymore. And that was the frog in your throat. But the frog in your throat is also the little guy here inside the stork's mouth, choking the stork so he can't swallow him whole. The frog is something that I've created, an acronym for folks refusing others' garbage. And sometimes that garbage is your own. And the stork, life stork, is a situational taker of rational knowledge, where we take a look at all of these. I mean, it could be a boss, it could be a colleague, it could be a spouse, a family member. Somebody's stealing, taking away all these things from us that we feel like they're taking away from us. Rationally, they're not, unless we're allowing it. And so the book, to make a short story long, is autobiographical, but it's also a primer to give you the steps that I've learned the hard way along the way on how to get yourself over these different hurdles in life. And I tell it in an Irma Bombeck style, so that it's not so heavy, that there's humor involved. And I think you'll see a little bit of yourself somewhere in this book and go, oh, I can relate to that. How do you get past it? And I lay out the steps in a pretty short book, 180 pages, on what I learned over the course of several decades and how to get over those hurdles.
What did you learn about yourself when you're writing the book?
My voice was always there. I just lost it. I just didn't know where it was. I couldn't find it. We spend so much time seeing our dreams through someone else's eyes that we forget how the dream came about in the first place. I always caution my clients, because I went through the same thing, that why are we looking at our own dreams through someone else's eyes? It's not their dream. They don't relate to it. They don't love it, and they don't care about it as much as we do. And whether that dream is your book to tell your story. Everyone has a story. Everyone has a story. I don't care if you had the best life growing up. That's a story that needs to be told too. People need hope and belief that you're okay because you had a great childhood. They need the stories of some of the saddest, most heartbreaking things too, to show them maybe things aren't as bad. If you can get over yours, they can get over theirs too. We're always looking for a champion. Why would we let someone else take our championship story that they didn't learn, that they didn't live, and tell us how to present it? That's the biggest part of finding your own voice again, is shut out the noise. It's all extraneous. They got their own issues. They got their own story to tell. Yours is special because it's no one else's story but your own. It's yours. Your voice and your story is the one thing no one can take from you unless you give it to them. It is truly yours and yours alone. No one else can just reach in there and steal it. It's yours. Let it shine. That's what makes you so incredibly unique and so incredibly important. And your story should shine. Everyone's got that story, even if it's just for maybe grandkids later on, or to explain something your daughter maybe hadn't understood about you. Maybe it's for your great grandson that you'll never meet, but wants to know more about, why do I maybe have some of these these interests, these personality traits. Oh, that came from my great, 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 great grandma 150 years ago. Your unique story. There's always something amazing. Life is so much more interesting than anything you could ever make up. It's funnier, it's more enticing, it's more intriguing, it's more relatable, it's easier to connect to. You just got to tell the story.
And in a world of AI, things are being mass produced now. The human side of the story and the human voice seems to be dwarfed by this mound of things that are coming to us automatically now. I think that's the power of standing out in a world that's becoming more and more AI focused, is your story and your living experience can't be duplicated by those stories, right? Right.
Even, uh, I have a love-hate relationship with AI. I use a lot of AI tools in my work, but I don't let AI take over. And the final everything comes through my eyes, not through AI's. AI is a great tool to expedite things and get you on the right track. But when you rely too heavily on AI, everything sounds homogenized. It goes back to what we were talking about when you're running across the perfect person. Your first gut is ew. It's the same way when you're reading anything that is AI generated. You can't put a finger on it other than the M dashes give it away, but it doesn't feel right. There's nothing to connect to. It just doesn't feel right. And so use AI, but use it as a tool. Don't use it as everything else. Let the flaws, which make you relatable, come through. AI doesn't have a sense of humor. You do. AI doesn't feel remorse or regret. It doesn't feel grief or sadness. You do. It's the feeling that comes through. It's like taking an AI piece of music, playing, recreating a Black Sabbath tune, or letting uh, Tony Iommi come out tall and brooding with his guitar and either showcasing Ozzy originally or Ronnie James Dio. Dio doesn't get enough credit for his time with Sabbath, and he did more than Ozzy in recording. Um, I'm not going to go ahead and argue what the merits of both are because I love Ozzy. But with that being said, um, but that comes through. It's the feeling. It's that human element. It's the flaw. It's the flaw that comes through. Don't be afraid to showcase that and stand up, because ultimately, if you want to have success with your book or in business or anything else, you have to look for that piece that allows you to elevate and separate yourself from all the rest. Alex and Layla Hermosi, let's go back to that. They're doing the same thing. They're doing marketing 101, but they elevate and separate because consistency, persistency, and they understand at the core what their brand personality and voice is. That's the differentiator. They let the human element come out.
Your love letter to a reader. They grab a copy of your book, it arrives at their house. Before they open it, wait, before you read anything, Sher wants to give you a message about this book. What is that love letter to that reader?
Your voice is important. Your voice doesn't need to be invisible anymore. You are worth all of the struggle, all of the dreams. You can achieve it, and you don't have to jump through 15 different hoops to get to the life you love. It's just basic common sense stuff, with a little extra encouragement to remind you, you got this. Let's hop together. Let's become a couple of frogs, shall we? Do you know that frogs, when they get together, it's called an army of frogs? Be part of the frog army. You've got this.
There's some swag there somewhere, Sher. Like a hat, a shirt, a sticker, there's something. Come on.
there's merchandise that's in the works right now for
Okay.
be the frog, be the frog, never give up. That's be the frog in life's throat is what I typically tell people. Be the frog in life's throat. Hold on. Life's throat is that stork. Don't let him swallow you whole. Be the frog in life's throat. Never give up.
And a very famous frog said, "It's not easy being green," but right.
I have a collection of Kermit paraphernalia. Yeah,
it might not be easy to share your voice and to do that, but the benefits, important. Right.
It's important. I promise you, there is at least one person in this world who needs to hear what you say, who's been waiting and has been on the edge and isn't sure what to do and is about to give up. They need to hear your voice.
And what if your story is the one story that they need and no one else can tell that one story? What if you hide that story? You never write that book. You never get on that stage. You never talk to that person.
It's what I call the power of a 5-minute conversation, man. You just, something, it could be chit chat, and 30 seconds from now, you don't even remember what you said, but that little, somewhere in that conversation, there was a little jewel that had the power to change a mood, change a mind, change a direction, change a life, or even save a life. That's what you.
And that's how I walked away from our time together when we first met. That's exactly how I felt talking to you. I'm like, I thought about you constantly from that moment on. Up to that point, you were a website, you were a person, you were an email address. After that conversation, now I'm like, you're a model for me. I took action because of something you did. Like it had a direct impact on me just because you made time to talk to me. And I think if we understand the impact that we can have on people just by being there for people, I think life can be so much better, right? So that's so thank you for doing that for me.
Thank you. I mean, you made an impact on me. Every opportunity, every conversation that I get the privilege of having is a gift. There's always something that I find in every single conversation I have that I get to take something away from it and use it. Sometimes in our cases, it's such a beneficial thing where I take a look at different ways to be relatable and connect, and like your demeanor, your personality, the way you handle your own business here with podcasting is something that I analyze and I take a look at and I go, okay, that really works. I really like what he's doing here. I wonder, how can I best incorporate it into my own world to enhance what I do, put my own unique spin on it. I'm not, advocating go out and copy everyone exactly. No, figure out what pieces work and what don't. But even the conversations where you're sitting back going, this person's a buffoon. Learn something from that. Learn what not to do. Look closely at yourself. Analyze and go, do I have any elements of that going on there? Because typically what we react negatively to, there's a little thread in there in our own personality that recognizes that and goes, that's not okay. And you need to change it. You just haven't. So I take benefit from every single one of these conversations.
Sure. We mentioned your free gift link, which we'll bring up again here at the end. And then the benefit, again, to the people that follow that link to you and this 30-day opportunity we have with you and your community. Can you kind of wrap that up with us today and send us that link again?
Absolutely. If you go to free gift from Sher, SHER, because again, I'm not the singer. I don't get to have the C, I get the S. So freegiftfromsher.com. What you will get is 30 days free, no obligations, no strings, to join my Engage Your Voice group Q&A mastermind session. I have business people from around the world that can either show up live twice a month is what we do this, typically the first and third Wednesdays of the month. I set these up where it's a live 60-minute Q&A session where we get to bounce ideas off of one another. If you have an issue, if for example, your emails, you're not getting the open rate that you need, we'll discuss in a mastermind setting different things, different tangible steps you can take with you today to start using to get greater impact. And I leave this, I don't set the topics. I leave it open to the participants to decide what's important to them that day. And we go back and forth and get through it. So you don't have to be, if you can't make it for the live call, I always send out the recording of both the video and the audio plus the chat, because a lot of times you're going to get contact information so that you can use it as a networking group as well with business professionals around the globe, where you can learn to collaborate and you can work with one another and get even more from it. So I offer those things, 30 days. At the end of it, if you're like, this was great, but not for me, I'm going to thank you and wish you well, let you go on your way. I don't spam people. I don't sell anything. If you want to stay, there's a very minimal monthly membership fee. It's $27 for a month to come in and use it to your advantage. We have, some people that show up every single week live on the calls. We have others that have never showed up for a live one, but they submit their questions beforehand and they're listening to the recordings every single week. So even if you have a question, but you can't make it, send the questions in and we'll address it right on that call.
Sure. And where do we get the book as well, Sher?
The book, you can go to thefroginyourthroat.com. I'm just going to throw my lighting down too. So that's the name of the book, The Frog in Your Throat. You can get the autographed copy on the website, thefroginyourthroat.com. Or if you decide you want to, just do a quick and easy, order it from Amazon, you can purchase it there. And if you reach out to me at Sher@speakingwithsher.com, I can send you an autographed sticker that you can put into the book yourself at a later date. The audiobook should be ready on Audible. I should have that done, I would guess, September, October. So believe it or not, I haven't voiced it yet, but I'm getting ready to do that. I've been voicing books for other clients. Now it's time to take care of my baby too.
So if you've had not enough of the amazing voice talents of Sher, you get to look forward to that as well in the future, which is exciting. I'm really great. And that'll probably be like a little more than 74% of Sher. What do you think? 100% of Sher by the time audiobook recording time comes around? What do you think?
Well, I'm looking to start the recording process this week or next. So if I can get rid of the nose a little bit, I should have it up to 86%.
I can tell you that you show up 100% no matter what you do. So those numbers, that 70, that 74 doesn't mean anything to me. I get 100% from you every time I talk to you, Sher. So thank you for making time to be on the show. And I hope many, many people follow through and come into your community, spend some time with you, grab a copy of the book, share the book with others, and get inspired to get out there and share their voice. And thank you for helping people to find their voice, Sher. Really, you're very inspiring, and you make me want to act and move forward with what I want to do with my life. So you're a big impact on me. I just want to say thank you.
Dave, I can't thank you enough for this opportunity. And I am really excited about the possibility of us continuing to collaborate and really help a lot of people in the process, with writing their books or how to market it or just how to have that dream, how to get started even. What you're doing is such a gift that I can't thank you enough for the opportunity to come and just hang out with you for a little bit.
Excellent. Thank you for all the effort to get here too. I appreciate it.
It's my pleasure.
Everyone, all information for Sher is always in the show notes. Go and support an amazing author, a very creative person, and a very kind human being. We need more Sher in this world. If we could turn back time, we'd have more time with Sher. But this is it for today. We'll have her back for How to Podcast series and more conversation in the future. Sher, thank you so much.
Thank you, Dave.
Hey, as we exit the podcast, as we leave out the door, I know the car's running. Somebody's eagerly waiting for you to get out there and go home. As we exit the podcast, I just want to ask, if you have time, I would truly appreciate it. We ask for you to do this for our authors. When you buy your book, we ask you to leave a review. Why? Because it means a lot to the author and it tells other people that the book is great. Now, you don't hear me ask for this very often, so I'm going to do this here because we're friends, right? You and I are friends. I would love a review of this show because it'll tell more people to come and listen to this podcast. So if you have Apple, wherever you're listening, there's probably some way to give a star rating or leave a comment about the show. YouTube, you can always leave comments on YouTube. Every episode's there. I'd love to hear from you. Leave a review, leave a rating, and share this with somebody. That's probably the best way to grow the podcast, is for you to share it. And by listening to the end of the episode, like you're doing right now, tells all the apps this is a good podcast. So thank you for already helping me by listening to this part. But go leave a review. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And thank you for being part of the podcast family. Take care.